Hi, I'm Riley. I'm 18 years old, and I was raised by lesbians. 3 of them, actually. I don't have a dad or anything. I also have 2 younger sisters. They're twins. Ryan and Katie. They're pretty cool most of the time. My moms, Megan and Cole, first met before the turn of the century. They fell in love when gay marriage wasn't legal and decided to have a baby together anyways. So they found an anonymous sperm donor, and 9 months later, Megan delivered an angel into the world. Yeah, that's me. I'm cute, huh? 2 sisters when I was 3. The twins. Cole gave birth to them this time, and by then my mom said split up because things happen. I guess she just really wanted more of us, though. Ryan and Katie are my half-sisters, technically, since we shared the same donor, but we didn't have the same birth mom. But they're my full sisters by heart. I've never really seen them as anything different. So I was raised in a split-parent household, which was actually more accepted than seeing 2 moms with children out in public. Cole eventually married my amazing stepmother, Jess, and Jess legally adopted the twins a few years ago. It's all a bit confusing, I know, but I think the better word is unique. I love my family. I wouldn't change it for the entire world. But I've always known we weren't so admirable in the eyes of people afraid of difference. The media. It's both helped and hurt me in trying to understand why a lot of people still don't like my moms. Sometimes I see things that make my heart happy, things that make me feel a little bit less alone. Things like this.
I think in some circumstances they will have it harder in life, but in other areas I think they're going to be stronger. I mean, who better to parent you than people who've had to persevere their whole life?
If only gay people could marry, you'd be really sad, so why shouldn't they be able to marry?
I don't think it makes any difference if it's a man, a woman, or 2 men, or 2 women. Love is love. You can't change that.
But other times it's things that aren't so heartwarming. Things that always made me feel like there was something wrong with me, when really I guess the problem was the world around me. Things like...
Behavior is harmful not only to society, but more importantly to the individuals who engage in that behavior.
You don't need to be in the pew every Sunday to know that there's something wrong in this country when gays can serve openly in the military.
People who are trapped in the homosexual lifestyle, they're in constant rebellion with order, with their natural order, with natural law.
There's one
has to understand barbarians need to be educated. They need to be disciplined, and just because someone feels it or thinks it doesn't mean that we're supposed to go down that road.
We went from Lawrence versus Texas to now a constitutional right to same-sex marriage, and they're going into a constitutional right to polyamorous relationships. This is the slippery slope.
I have a book called The Marketing of Evil by David Kapelian, and it tells how expert genius Harvard marketers actually came up with the word gay rights so that the American public would accept it as natural behavior.
Of course he supports gay marriage. If he decided he wanted to marry a fat, he'd go marry a fat. Of course he supports gay marriage. Fat can marry today. They just want everyone calling them holy while they do it. And don't worry.
And especially this.
I figured a way to get rid of all the lesbians and queers, but I couldn't get it passed through Congress. Build a great, big, large fence, 150 or 100 mile long, put all the lesbians in there, fly over and drop some food. Do the same thing with the queers and the homosexuals. And have that fence electrified till they can't get out. Feed them, and you know what? In a few years, they'll die out. Do you know why? They can't reproduce.
A few months ago, the seniors at my school were asked to create senior projects. The terms were vague, but the goal was clear. Do something that would leave an impact on others. I decided this was the opportunity I've been waiting for pretty much my entire life. A chance to make others understand why love has no boundaries, no gender, no label. To understand living a life like I did, through rainbow-colored lenses. I began by talking to my friend Delaney, who has 2 moms.
So, I come from a family with 2 moms and a sister. I have a younger sister, she's in 9th grade. My 2 moms met 27 years ago, and they met in nursing, I think. One of my moms had me and my sister through help of artificial insemination, and me and my sister actually have the same donor, and we do know our donor. My donor doesn't raise me, my donor doesn't do anything for me. Yeah, I have met my donor. I think we went to Disneyland or something weird like that. In kindergarten, there actually was a kid with 2 moms in my class in kindergarten, so like I remember how like it wasn't the weirdest thing in the world at the time, but I definitely by kindergarten I knew like I didn't have a mom and dad, like, and like, you know, those projects like the mom and dad stuff as a basic kindergartner, like draw your little family, and that was like, I don't think it really hit me yet. It really didn't hit me till middle school. I would be drawing and like you'd have, like I remember like always the starter would be drawing your family and you'd be like, ooh, my dog, like Hero or whatever, and I'd have to be like dos mamas, and like people just like, what? And like, and I think that's when I always debated like, do I draw 2 moms? Do I just draw dad and like, then I don't have to talk about it? I always like, I'm very cautious when I first meet someone about telling them I have 2 moms, because I feel like when I tell them that off the bat, it's like, oh, like I'm not gonna hang out. Like, I don't know, it's just when I met my first friend in high school, I told her, I was like, yeah, both of my parents, oh yeah, my parents are over. I would just not use 2 moms or mom and dad. I would just be like, oh yeah, my parents. And actually one of my friends came over and I'd still been using the term my parents. And then there just happened to be 2 moms there. And I was like, oh yeah, by the way, I have 2 moms. Turns out later I found out like she wasn't very accepting of 2 moms. I feel like it didn't stop us from being friends, which I was really happy about, but definitely I feel like if I told her in the first place, I don't know if we would have had the same friendship. You just have to think of it as every person you meet, you then have to tell them that, or they're going to find out kind of thing. But it never seemed to bother Maddie. Maddie was like always proud of it, and like I'm proud of it, but I would keep it quiet. Like seeing my younger sister be okay with it and like tell people is kind of what's made me be okay with telling people. And I think that's like crazy that my younger sister is what like makes me be okay with it. In a way, also coming from a family with your parents being lesbian, like you don't understand why they don't think it's okay, because like as a family, like you've seen them and like we're raised perfectly fine, and I just like, I want to welcome them into our family and see how like it's normal. Like we're a normal family, like we do all the same things, everything, you know, we do all the same activity. I just wish like they could see that, you know? Like we all are supposed to like be equal and not discriminate, and like just like I feel like we see 2 people together and like everyone just stares. I just hope it's more accepting.
Next, I sat down with June and Janaea, along with their 8-month-old baby, Margaret. They lived across the street from us when we were younger, and they've always been really important people in my life. Plus, I was the flower girl at their wedding.
As you see more same-sex families, it's hopefully going to open the minds of heterosexual couples and families to have conversations with their children, that there's all types of families out there, and that's okay.
We're worried about her. I'm concerned for her because not only are we a gay couple, but we are an interracial couple. What's it going to be like for her growing up? Not only do you have 2 moms, but your mom's white and your mom's Black, Hispanic, Native American, Asian. You know, I can remember the day that I saw the Long Beach Gay Pride on TV. I literally jumped up off my green, nasty, crazy, fold-out couch bed that was like plaid or something, and I literally jumped off the couch and got my big TV. It was like, with rabbit ears, it was like there's other people like me out there.
It's, as harsh as this might sound, I think it's pure ignorance.
Yeah.
It's fear of people different from them. But I think any LGBTQ family that you talk to, if you really just open your mind and your heart to hear what they have to say, you realize they're just another family.
That we're seen as like a bad thing, a sin, that just negativity,
Especially if somebody's different from you, they don't care to get to know why or ask you questions. It's just like, you're different. I'm not okay with it.
I had said, well, okay, do we have to have a heterosexual, like, straight day celebration? Why does there have to be a gay day celebration? And I'm like, have you ever been beaten in public because you kissed your wife? You know, you think it's like over celebration because we're gay. I said, we're celebrating because we had a fight to be able to even do those things. So when somebody asked me, why do you guys have to have a gay celebration? Well, because these things are still happening, and we've come so long, so far, and just legal battles, and just being able to just hold hands.
I hope, all I can hope for is that she is treated as any other child would be treated, not judged. I know that judging is, it's human nature, but not judged based on her mom's. It's based on her as an individual, and you know, hopefully, you know, we're gonna do a really good job raising her to be a kind, loving young lady, and people just see that.
I interviewed Delaney, June, Janaea, and Margaret, and I felt like I had a pretty good point of view from other people about their experiences and how I could relate them to mine. Still, I felt like something was missing, so I decided to bring two special guests on. My sisters, Ryan and Katie.
I'm Katie.
I'm Ryan.
We're twins.
You're twins.
We're twins.
When I was in elementary school, one of my closest friends told me he couldn't hang out with me anymore because my parents would burn in hell.
I don't necessarily think that, like, you have the right to be okay with me. You should just accept me and my family, because that's where I come from. Anyone saying homophobic comments, I would just kind of keep to myself and be like, oh, I hope they never find out that I have two moms, because I don't want to see what would happen. And I sometimes still do that, which is, I feel guilty for that a lot of the time. But also, if it's, you know, really bad, people are being very hateful, then I'm gonna stand up for not just my parents, but for a whole community of people, because that's just the right thing to do. Obviously, love is a much more positive thing to have in your life than hate. So to hate on people who have no effect on you is just bringing negative energy into your life that you don't need, and that the people who you're judging don't need.
Everyone has their own faith, and like I think people should have like a faith or like a belief in something. Well, they can, but they shouldn't use it as a way to like be able to be hateful. Like it shouldn't be an excuse and make it easy for you to just hate people. And like,
you wouldn't be at a disadvantage with one parent. You wouldn't be at a disadvantage with two moms, two dads, one mom, one dad. Anything. You're not. Those are people who raised you. It's not any different. I think growing up with a ton of women is really empowering and inspiring, and it teaches you a lot. There's, you know, people out there who are homophobic who are also sexist, and they just think that women aren't strong and that men are stronger, and that maybe our families are weak because we don't have that strong figure. But it just proves to you how strong women can be, that our moms have dealt with sexism and homophobia, and they are still strong, and they're here, and they've raised a beautiful family. You feel love for people, they feel love for people. It's not, you're not being trapped. Love is not a cage that you're trapped in. It's just who you are and what you have.
Doing this project has only helped me gain a deeper understanding of the beauty of families like mine. It also made me feel less alone, which is pretty cool. I'm not sure what you're going to take away from this. Maybe you won't take anything at all. Or maybe you will. I can't control that. I can only hope for one thing. That one day, someday, my moms won't be afraid to hold hands in public, anywhere in the world. That love won't be defined in political terms. And hopefully, the world